You will get to hear from each candidate today, about 5 minutes. And gentlemen, I do have a stopwatch. And we're going to start today with Brian Aldridge because he has a junior achievement event that he has to go to. So let's welcome Brian Aldridge.
How's everybody doing today? Good. That's the first time I've ever spoken where someone actually answered me, so that's a first. Mark that one down. I do apologize. I do have to slip out here in a little bit. I have a commitment on Thursdays to teach Marlo Hendricks' class, Junior Achievement. So I do apologize for that. Before I get started, I would like to introduce my wife. She's with me today. She kind of slipped in at the last moment. So if you haven't been able to meet generally, I hope you get to in the near future. Before I start, though, you know, there's a lot of things that are important, and one of the most important things to me, of course, is my freedom, and people will defend that freedom. So before we start, I would like to thank Mr. Stafford here for his service in Iraq, his service for defending my freedom and your freedom. If we can, let's give him a hand. You know, in 2003. I visited with a lot of you, and I told you I was going to help change the lives of those who live in Lee County. Well, I started right off the bat with helping enact what the Wall Street Journal calls the most comprehensive tort reform legislation in the country. Now, prior to 2004, every small business here in Mississippi was one frivolous lawsuit away from ending what so many of us and so many of you sometimes just taking generations to obtain, and that's that small family business. Folks, opportunities arose in Jackson, in the state legislature, and I kept my promises to you. You know, during my first term rather in the legislature, and as vice president of the Mississippi Legislative Conservative Coalition, I worked with conservative leaders in Jackson and local law enforcement officials to make life absolutely miserable for sex offenders. I helped enact several portions of Jessica's Law, with the end result being Mississippi now has some of the strongest sexual predator laws in the country. Now, as I stated a few minutes ago, not only did I work with conservative leaders in Jackson, but I worked also with those local law enforcement officials here in Lee County by participating in several sexual predator stings here in Lee County. Getting one person that actually lived about 5 miles from my wife and my child's and my front door. Again, opportunities arose in the state legislature, and I kept my promises to you. You know, according to the International Dyslexia Association, along with the Mississippi Department of Education, 10% of any given population is dyslexic. Now think about this. Now what does that mean for Mississippi? What does that mean for our school children? It means that approximately 50,000 kindergarten through 12th grade students have some form of dyslexia. That's someone you know. That's possibly you when you were in kindergarten through 12th grade. That is possibly your child one day, or possibly your grandchild one day. Now, as subcommittee chairman, it was my responsibility to strengthen the current laws we have regarding dyslexia. Governor Barber and I worked side by side this past legislative session to take the first steps in requiring that all kindergarten through 3rd grade students are screened for the characteristics of dyslexia. Folks, once again, opportunities arose in the state legislature, and I kept my promises. Jobs, and jobs were and still are the #1 issue with most voters here in Lee County. In 2005, I was appointed one of 6 lawmakers to Mississippi's landmark economic development initiative called Momentum Mississippi. Now, because of this, because of tort reform, and because of erasing a $720 million deficit, and once again, I want you to let that sink in for a second. Erasing a $720 million deficit that many people said could not be done within 4 years. Today we have a $220 million surplus. Because of these 3 things, Mississippi was able to recruit jobs to Northeast Mississippi, Severport, Toyota, numerous others. Opportunities arose in the state legislature, and I kept my promises to you. Now, folks, one of the first lessons in leadership is not where you start, but where you end. One of the second lessons in leadership is building on yesterday's progress. I'm ready. I'm ready to go back to Jackson with your help, with your support, and continue to build on the progress that we've made over the past 4 years. God bless you.
Thank you, Brian.
Guys, first of all, I am proud to be a CDF member. Thank you for coming out and give yourself a big hand.